You're doing it wrong. Useless girl. Elaine froze just inside the doorway of her parents' kitchen. Her 6-year-old daughter Harper stood trembling on a step stool, arms barely able to hold a dripping pot under the faucet. Her pink shirt clung to her skin, soaked in dishwater. Her father's voice, once the soundtrack of Elaine's childhood shame, now roared again, this time at her daughter. Harper flinched as Richard slammed his palm on the counter. Your cousins knew how to wash dishes at your age. You're just like your mother, always making excuses. In that moment, the room seemed to close in around Elaine. Her sister Kate sat nearby, scrolling on her phone like nothing was happening. Her daughters, Ava and Sophie, giggled from behind a tablet. She's so dumb, one of them whispered. Mom said her dad left because she was too much work. Elaine's heart twisted. Put that pot down right now, Harper. All 5 heads turned. Harper's eyes widened with relief as she jumped down, nearly slipping off the stool before bolting into Elaine's arms. Her body shook as she buried her face in her mother's coat. I was teaching her responsibility, Richard said, stepping forward, towering over them both. Elaine's voice was cold steel. By humiliating her, by calling her useless? Diane sighed, exasperated. She needs to learn. The girls all help. No, they don't, Elaine shot back, glaring at Ava and Sophie, who hadn't moved from the couch. Harper's the only one expected to earn her keep. You should be grateful, Richard barked. We watch her for free so you can play career woman. Elaine's laugh was bitter. You think I owe you gratitude for calling my daughter stupid? For emotionally abusing her while I pay your mortgage? There was a pause, thick, awkward. Kate finally looked up. Elaine, don't turn this into one of your scenes. Oh, you mean reality? Elaine snapped. Harper, sweetheart, has Grandpa spoken to you like this before? Harper looked at her grandfather, then down at her shoes. Every time I come here. Elaine knelt beside her. Tell me, it's okay. Harper whispered. He makes me clean everything, yells when I mess up. Grandma says I'll get fat like Daddy. And Ava says Daddy left because he didn't want me. Silence. Elaine stood trembling. Kate, get your daughters. Out. Kate scoffed. Excuse me? Either leave or hear what I really think of you raising 2 bullies. Kate grabbed her kids with an exaggerated sigh. Come on, girls. Aunt Elaine's in one of her moods. As the door slammed behind them, Elaine turned to her parents. How dare you? I paid over $100,000 to keep this roof over your heads. And this is how you repay me? You treat my daughter like trash. Diane's face turned pale. That's different. You're part of this family. No, Elaine said. I've been your ATM, but that ends today. That night, after putting Harper to bed, Elaine sat at her kitchen table, wine in hand, laptop open. She logged into her bank portal, her eyes burning with quiet fury. $2,300 every month for 4 years. Gone into silence. She clicked Cancel Recurring Payment. A simple confirmation popped up. Success. Then she picked up the phone and dialed her financial advisor. Elaine? Craig answered. Everything okay? Yeah, she said. Actually, better than okay. I'm ready to stop funding a lie. I want to redirect that money to Harper's future. There was a pause on the line. All of it? Every cent. Craig exhaled slowly. Understood. And Elaine? Yes? I'm proud of you. Elaine stared at the screen, heart pounding. For once, she didn't feel guilty. She felt free. But as she turned off the light and headed to bed, her phone buzzed on the counter. 7 missed calls from Mom, 1 message from Dad. Don't forget who raised you. There will be consequences. Elaine stared at the screen, lips tightening. No, there will be boundaries. If you've ever been overlooked after giving your all, type 1. Elaine's phone buzzed violently just as she stepped into the conference room. Her heart sank. The subject line of the email read, Urgent, Final Portfolio, Submission, Attribution Error. She opened it quickly, her breath catching. Melissa, the junior analyst she'd mentored for a year, had submitted Elaine's entire proposal to the board, but under her own name. The presentation slides, the financial projections, even the client feedback report Elaine had compiled at 2 a.m. last Friday, all there, just with Melissa's watermark. Elaine looked across the table. Melissa sat confidently beside VP Rob, smiling as he introduced her. Our rising star's been working tirelessly on this portfolio, Elaine spoke up. Actually, I prepared that report. Melissa didn't even flinch. Elaine gave me the framework last month, but I've been running points since. You've been busy with personal matters, right? The implication stung. Elaine knew what this was. Retaliation cloaked as ambition. But she couldn't blow up here. Not yet. Back in her office, Elaine closed the door and gripped the edge of her desk until her knuckles whitened. One battle at a time. Right now, the war at home was worse. Her voicemail had 4 new messages. Elaine, it's your mother. Your father's blood pressure spiked. He had to lie down. This mortgage stress is killing him. Are you happy now? Elaine, you're being vindictive. Call me back or this family falls apart on your head. She deleted each one without listening to the end. That night, Harper sat curled on the couch, unusually quiet. Elaine sat beside her, brushing the girl's curls from her forehead. Tell me more about what it's like at Grandma and Grandpa's house. Anything you remember? Harper hesitated. They made me clean the bathroom once. And when I messed up the toilet paper roll, Grandpa made me do it again and again. He said Ava could do it faster. Elaine's chest burned. What else, sweetheart? Harper's voice dropped. I wasn't allowed cookies because Grandma said I already have thick arms like Daddy. She said Ava and Sophie earned theirs. Elaine struggled to remain composed. Did you tell her that hurt your feelings? I tried, but she told me not to be sensitive and that you wouldn't want me whining while you worked hard. There it was again, the manipulation, using her career as a weapon, twisting Harper's trust. Later that night, Elaine sat in Dr. Bennett's office, arms crossed, fury simmering just beneath the surface. Your daughter is showing classic signs of conditional love modeling, the therapist said gently. She believes love has to be earned through service. She thinks mistakes mean rejection. Elaine buried her face in her hands. That's exactly how I felt growing up. And you're breaking that pattern, Dr. Bennett replied. But you'll need to hold firm, even when it gets ugly. It got ugly fast. The next morning, Kate ambushed her in the school parking lot during Harper's drop-off. Her jaw was tight, voice venomous. You cut them off financially? Are you serious? Elaine calmly helped Harper into her booster seat. Dead serious. They could lose the house, Elaine. And Harper was losing her self-worth. Kate laughed bitterly. So this is revenge? No, Elaine snapped. This is protection. Kate stepped closer, lowering her voice. Mom says you're turning Harper against the family, that you're poisoning her. Elaine turned to face her fully. They poisoned her, Kate. I'm detoxing her. Kate's eyes narrowed. They raised you. You owe them. No, Elaine said flatly. I survived them. That debt is paid. That evening, she received an alert from her bank. Fraudulent login attempt blocked. Origin, her parents' zip code. She stared at the screen, pulse racing. They'd tried to access her personal account. Elaine changed every password, added biometric locks, and enabled alerts. Her parents hadn't just crossed a boundary, they'd breached it. Then a message lit up her phone. From Dad. Call us. Fix this. Or we make this legal. Elaine's reply was only one sentence. Try me. If someone's ever weaponized your kindness or silence, type 2. The subject line hit like a slap. Elaine's betrayal, a family crisis. She barely got through the first paragraph of the email. Her father had CC'd over 20 family members, aunts, uncles, cousins she hadn't seen in years. In it, he claimed Elaine had abandoned them during a medical emergency, that she'd cut off contact after a minor parenting disagreement, and that she was weaponizing her daughter for revenge. No mention of being called useless, no mention of emotional abuse, just a curated narrative to maintain their golden image. Elaine closed her laptop and leaned back in her chair, her breath shallow. Not because the lies hurt, they didn't, not anymore. What crushed her was how predictable it was. That night, she called her Aunt Linda, who lived in Vermont. They hadn't spoken in months. I read the email, Linda began. Then I deleted it. Elaine blinked. You did? I saw how they treated you when you were a kid, honey. I should have said something. I didn't. I'm sorry. That moment hit deeper than expected. It was the first time anyone from the older generation had acknowledged what she'd always known, but had never heard out loud. And just so you know, Linda added, your grandfather left them enough money to retire on. They blew through it in 5 years. You weren't the first bailout, just the last. 2 days later, Elaine sat across from her parents in Dr. Bennett's office. Neutral ground, neutral lighting. Nothing else had been neutral about this war. Diane looked worn, her once coiffed hair in a messy bun. Richard tapped his foot in agitation, arms crossed. Dr. Bennett opened calmly. We're here to discuss the conditions for reestablishing trust and safe contact. Elaine, would you like to begin? Elaine inhaled. This isn't about punishing you. This is about Harper. She was being emotionally harmed in your home. I won't allow that to continue. Richard scoffed. We disciplined her. That's different. No, Elaine said. You humiliated her. You compared her to her cousins. You made her feel like she wasn't wanted, just like you did to me. Diane's voice cracked. We were trying to help, teach her strength. Elaine turned to her. Strength doesn't come from shame. It comes from love, and you failed both of us. Dr. Bennett nodded toward the parents. Can either of you acknowledge how your behavior may have harmed Harper? Silence. Then Diane whispered, I saw Richard yell. I said nothing. I saw how Ava and Sophie treated her and stayed quiet. That's on me. I'm sorry. Richard grunted. I shouldn't have called her useless, or compared her. That was wrong. Elaine's hands trembled slightly. Thank you, but words aren't enough. If you want any relationship with Harper moving forward, here's what needs to happen. Weekly therapy, supervised visits, no undermining my parenting, and absolutely no financial access or expectations. Ever again. Richard's jaw clenched. So, if we jump through hoops, you'll pay the mortgage again? Elaine looked him dead in the eye. No, I'm not buying access to respect. That balance is closed, Dr. Bennett interjected before the argument could reignite. Elaine is offering a relationship, not a transaction. The next week, Harper met her grandparents at a nearby park for a short supervised visit. There were no gifts, no guilt, just a book, and for once, listening. When Harper dropped her juice, she flinched. Richard bent down and said softly, That's okay, kiddo. Happens to the best of us. Harper blinked. Really? Really, he said. Let's clean it up together. Elaine stood to the side, arms crossed, a cautious hope growing where resentment used to sit. That night, Harper asked, Mommy, is it okay if I love them again? Elaine hesitated, then smiled gently. Yes, sweetheart, as long as you remember, love never has to be earned. If you've ever fought to be respected, not repaid, type 3,